I stared at my father across our kitchen table, trying to process what he had just said. The college acceptance letter to Stanford's business school, my dream school, lay between us, suddenly feeling more like a death sentence than an achievement. "You can't be serious," I whispered, barely able to believe the words coming out of my mouth. "That money was for my education. Mom set it up before she died," I added, my voice trembling. My father shifted uncomfortably as my stepmother, Patricia, placed her manicured hand over his. "Emma, darling, your sister Jessica's wedding is a family priority. She's marrying into the Reynolds family. Do you know what that could mean for our social standing?" she said, her tone calculating. Jessica, my stepsister, didn't even try to hide her smirk from across the table. At 25, she'd never worked a day in her life, spending her time planning elaborate parties and dating wealthy men. Now, she'd managed to snag an internship at Reynolds Enterprises, one of the largest tech companies in Seattle. "But it's my college fund," I repeated, still stunned. "Mom specifically set it aside, Your mother isn't here anymore," Patricia cut in sharply. "And as the legal trustees, we've decided the money would be better spent on Jessica's wedding. The Reynolds family expects certain standards." I looked at my father, searching for any sign of the man who had once encouraged my dreams of becoming a business leader. But he wouldn't meet my eyes. "Fine," I said, standing up. "Use the money, but don't expect me to attend the wedding." "Don't be dramatic," Patricia sighed. "You can still go to college. There are plenty of local community colleges that would be happy to have you." Jessica laughed. "Yeah, not everyone needs to go to Stanford. Some people are just meant for simpler things." That night, I left the house with nothing but my laptop, a few clothes, and the determination that had gotten me into Stanford in the first place. My best friend, Sarah, let me crash on her couch while I figured out my next move. 2 days later, I received an email that would change everything. "Dear Miss Emma Chin, your application for the Young Entrepreneurs Grant has been selected as a finalist. The grant includes full funding for your education at Stanford Business School, plus seed money for your proposed tech startup." I read the email 3 times, hardly daring to believe it. I'd applied for the grant months ago, never thinking I'd actually get it. The grant was funded by a mysterious tech mogul known only as the Phoenix, a woman who'd built a tech empire from nothing and now helped other young women do the same. What my family didn't know was that I'd been developing an AI-driven financial platform since high school. While Jessica was planning parties, I was coding late into the night, building something that could revolutionize how companies handled their finances. The grant interview was scheduled for the following week. I borrowed one of Sarah's business suits and took 3 buses to reach a sleek office building in downtown Seattle. "Miss Chin," the interviewer said, smiling warmly, "tell me about your vision for Fin AI." For the next hour, I outlined my plans, how my AI could predict market trends, optimize investments, and transform corporate financial planning. When I finished, the interviewer sat back with an odd smile. "Impressive," she said. "One last question. How would you feel about accelerating your timeline?" "What do you mean?" I asked. "The Phoenix isn't just offering you a grant," she explained. "She wants to acquire your technology and make you CEO of the new division. You'd complete your degree while running the company." My heart stopped. "I'm only 21. Who would trust Dash?" "Age is irrelevant," she cut in. "The Phoenix sees potential. Are you interested?" Was I interested? This was everything I'd dreamed of. But I knew I had to set one condition. "Yes," I said firmly. "But I want to remain anonymous as CEO until I choose to reveal myself. No public appearances, no photos, nothing that could identify me." The interviewer's smile widened. "The Phoenix operates the same way. I think you'll fit in perfectly." Little did I know that 3 months later, my path would cross with my family's in a way none of us could have predicted. 3 months flew by in a whirlwind of meetings, coding sessions, and late-night strategy planning. Fin AI was integrated into the Phoenix Group as a subsidiary, with me as its invisible CEO. My algorithms were already revolutionizing how major corporations managed their finances. Though nobody knew the mastermind behind it was a 21-year-old who'd been denied her college fund. I attended Stanford part-time, mostly online, while running the company from our Seattle headquarters. The Phoenix herself became my mentor, though we never met in person. All our communications happened through encrypted video calls, where she appeared as a silhouette. Then came the news that changed everything. Reynolds Enterprises is struggling, my VP of Operations reported during our morning meeting. Their stock has dropped 40% in the last quarter. They're looking for a bailout. Reynolds Enterprises, my soon-to-be brother-in-law's family company, the same company where my father and stepmother both worked as middle managers. They'd approached us for help. My CFO added, they want to implement Fin AI systems across their entire operation. The contract would be worth billions. I sat back processing this information. Set up a meeting but don't tell them who I am. I'll attend as Fin AI's representative. The meeting was scheduled for the following week, coincidentally 2 days before Jessica's lavish wedding. I hadn't spoken to my family since the night they took my college fund, though I'd heard through mutual friends about their endless bragging regarding Jessica's upcoming marriage into the Reynolds family. On the morning of the meeting, I dressed carefully in a Chanel suit. No borrowed clothes anymore. My company's success had made me a billionaire, though only a handful of people knew it. I arranged my dark hair into a sleek bun and applied subtle makeup, professional but not memorable, exactly how I wanted it. I arrived at Reynolds Enterprises headquarters early, watching through the lobby's glass walls as my family arrived. Dad and Patricia looked stressed, no surprise given the company's financial troubles. They hurried past without noticing me, heading for the conference room. 10 minutes later, I walked into the same room. The table was full of Reynolds executives, including Jessica's fiancé, Timothy Reynolds III, looking considerably less polished than in his social media photos. My father and Patricia sat near the back along with other middle managers. Thank you all for coming, Timothy's father began. As you know, we're facing some challenges, but we're fortunate to have representatives from Fin AI here to discuss a potential partnership. I opened my laptop. Let's begin with your current financial situation. For the next hour, I walked them through their company's problems. Problems my AI had identified months ago. Poor investment strategies, outdated systems, inefficient resource allocation. I could see Timothy's father growing increasingly uncomfortable as I detailed exactly how close they were to bankruptcy. How do you know all this? He demanded. Fin AI's algorithms are very thorough, I replied calmly. We've been watching Reynolds Enterprises for some time, and you can fix it. Can you really? Timothy asked, voice desperate. But we have conditions. I pulled up the contract on the screen. Fin AI would need complete control over your financial operations. All major decisions would require our approval. That's outrageous, Timothy's father exploded. You expect us to hand over control to some anonymous company? Not anonymous, I corrected. Just selective about our public image. From the back of the room, I heard Patricia whisper to my father. She reminds me of Emma, so cold and calculating. He only knew. Just then the door opened and a familiar silhouette appeared, the Phoenix herself. Everyone in the room straightened up. Even Timothy's father looked momentarily stunned. Hello, everyone, she said, her voice modulated through her signature voice changer. I see you've met my protégé. She walked to the front of the room, her face hidden behind her trademark digital mask. What happened next would shake my family to their core. Perhaps, the Phoenix said, her digitally altered voice filling the room, it's time we show Reynolds Enterprises exactly who they're dealing with. My heart raced. This wasn't part of the plan. The Phoenix turned to me, and though I couldn't see her face behind the digital mask, I could sense her smile. Emma, she said softly, they need to know. The room fell silent. I could feel my father and Patricia stiffening in their seats as recognition hit them. Slowly I stood up. My name is Emma Chin and I am the CEO of Fin AI, a subsidiary of the Phoenix Group. Our company is currently valued at $12 billion, and we control 40% of the global financial AI market. The color drained from Timothy's face. Jessica, who had just walked in to bring her fiancé lunch, dropped her designer bag. That's impossible, Patricia sputtered. Emma is nobody. She couldn't even afford college. The Phoenix laughed, a sound eerily mechanical through her modulator. Couldn't afford college, she echoed. Emma was a genius who developed groundbreaking AI technology while still in high school. When you stole her college fund, you actually did her a favor. It brought her to my attention. My father stood up, his face ashen. Am I? We didn't know, I said quietly. Sit down, Dad. This is a business meeting, not a family reunion. I turned back to the screen, pulling up more data. Reynolds Enterprises has 3 options. 1. Reject our offer and face bankruptcy within 6 months. 2. Accept our terms and allow FinAI to restructure your entire operation. Or 3. I paused, looking directly at Timothy. Sell to us now at a premium before your stock drops further. You can't do this, Jessica shrieked. I'm getting married in 2 days. Do you know how many important people are coming? Yes, I said with a small smile. The wedding, that one that cost me my college fund. $2 million for flowers alone, wasn't it? Interesting choice, I continued, considering Reynolds Enterprises couldn't even make payroll last month. Timothy's father slumped in his chair. How did we miss this? How did we not see what was happening to our company? He asked. Because you were too busy looking down on people like me, I replied, too focused on appearances and social climbing to notice that the future of finance was changing. The Phoenix stepped forward. I'm removing my mask now. It's time for both of us to step into the light. As her digital mask dissolved, gasps filled the room. Standing before us was Sarah Williams, my best friend who had given me a couch to sleep on when my family threw me out. You. I whispered, stunned. She smiled. I was looking for a successor. Someone who could take the Phoenix Group into the next generation. When your family pushed you away, I knew I'd found her. Patricia was practically hyperventilating. But Sarah was just a nobody, she stammered. She works at a coffee shop. Actually, Sarah corrected, I own the coffee shop chain and the tech company that bought it. And now, along with Emma, I own the future of financial technology. I turned back to the Reynolds family. You have 24 hours to decide. Choose wisely. As people filed out of the conference room, my father approached me. Emma, please. We can explain. No need, I said, gathering my things. But since you're so interested in family priorities, let me share mine. By this time next week, I'll own Reynolds Enterprises. I'll restructure it, save thousands of jobs, and turn it into something meaningful. That's what successful people do, Dad. We build things. We don't just marry into them. Jessica stood in the doorway, tears streaming down her face. What about my wedding? She cried. Don't worry, I said with a smile. I'm sure you can find a nice community center that would be happy to host you. After all, isn't that what you told me I should settle for? That night, in my penthouse office overlooking Seattle, Sarah joined me with 2 glasses of champagne. To stepping into the light, she toasted. To finding real family, I replied. 3 days later, Reynolds Enterprises accepted our offer. Jessica's grand wedding was cancelled. Marrying into bankruptcy wasn't part of her plan. My father and Patricia both submitted their resignations, too embarrassed to work for their daughter. But the best part? I finally received an email from my father that read, I'm sorry. You're not just your mother's daughter. You're better than all of us combined. I never replied. Instead, I established a scholarship fund in my mother's name at Stanford, specifically for young women in tech. The first requirement: submit an essay about overcoming family obstacles to chase your dreams. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's using that success to ensure no other girl has to choose between family loyalty and personal ambition.